After riding mountain bikes for more than 50 years, from the rigid frames I grew up on to the high-tech machines rolling out in 2026, one truth has become impossible to ignore. The price tag on a bike rarely matches how well it actually performs when the trail turns steep, loose, or technical. Big brands spend heavily on marketing, dealer networks, and team trucks. The money has to come from somewhere, and it usually comes straight out of your pocket in the form of inflated MSRPs. Right now, there are full suspension bikes under $3,000 carrying modern geometry, proper suspension, and component specs that would have cost you $5,000 or $6,000 just a few seasons ago. These are the bikes that make you stop and ask what you are actually paying for when you buy the famous name instead. Here are 10 that should honestly cost way more than they do. Number 10. Diamondback Release and Atroz Performance Models. Diamondback still carries that big box reputation for some riders, but the higher-end Release and Atroz builds have quietly stepped up. Modern geometry, capable suspension, and component choices that actually work on real trails sit in the $2,000 to $2,500 range. While the brand name might make some dealers turn up their noses, the bikes themselves deliver trail manners that rival machines costing significantly more. If you are willing to look past the old stigma and focus on what is actually bolted to the frame, these are legitimate options that punch well above their perceived weight class. Number 9. GT Force and Sensor. GT has been around forever, and the current force and sensor models prove the old dog still has teeth. 140 to 160 millimeters of travel, Fox suspension on many builds, and Shimano drivetrains show up at prices that regularly embarrass equivalent big brand bikes. These machines frequently land on deep discount, which only widens the value gap. Legacy geometry has been updated enough to stay competitive, and when you catch one on sale, you are looking at serious descending capability for well under $3,000. The brand may not have the same Instagram hype as some newer names, but the bikes have been quietly doing the work for riders who care more about trail time than logos. Number 8. Marin Rift Zone and San Quentin. Marin flies under the radar for a lot of riders, and that is exactly why these bikes represent such strong value. The Rift Zone full suspension models and the more aggressive San Quentin builds come with thoughtful kinematics, solid component choices, and real trail capability around the $2,300 mark. California roots show in the way these bikes are tuned for actual riding rather than pure marketing specs. They are not the flashiest on the showroom floor, but they quietly rack up miles without drama. When you have been riding as long as I have, you learn to respect the brands that spend their money on frame design and suspension tuning instead of billboards. Number 7. Norco Fluid FS. Norco has been delivering size-specific geometry across their lineup for years, and the Fluid FS continues that tradition at a price that feels almost too reasonable. Around $2,500 gets you a bike with modern trail manners, strong builds, and the kind of fit that actually works for a wide range of riders instead of forcing compromises. These are not the lightest or the flashiest, but they are competent, reliable, and surprisingly capable when the trail gets rowdy. For riders who want a do-it-all trail bike without playing the big brand pricing game, the Fluid FS remains one of the smarter choices in this range. Number 6. Ari Cascade Peak Comp. Ari keeps showing up on value lists for good reason. The Cascade Peak Comp delivers a clean, modern overall package under $2,500 with geometry and components that feel current rather than compromised. It is not trying to be the most aggressive bike in the category, but it strikes a practical balance that works for a huge percentage of real-world trail riding. Riders who have tested it consistently come away impressed by how much bike you actually get for the money. In a segment full of marketing noise, Ari simply builds capable machines and lets the ride quality do the talking. Number 5. Fezzari DTC models. Fezzari operates direct-to-consumer with real customization options and high-end parts that usually require a much larger budget. Fox factory suspension, XT-level drivetrains, and the ability to spec the bike to your exact preferences come without the traditional dealer markup. Some riders still hesitate because of brand familiarity, but the ones who pull the trigger often end up surprised by the performance per dollar equation. Lifetime warranty support on certain models adds peace of mind that many big brands do not match at this price. When you have owned enough bikes to know what actually breaks and what does not, the ability to spec quality parts from the start starts to matter more than a fancy head badge. Number 4. Canyon Neuron. Canyon has been proving for years that German engineering and direct sales can deliver a premium ride feel without the premium price tag. The Neuron sits in that sweet spot between $1,800 and $2,500 and offers modern geometry, balanced suspension, and components that feel like they belong on a much more expensive bike. It climbs efficiently, descends with confidence, and generally makes you forget you spent less than half what some comparable big brand trail bikes cost. The direct model means less money wasted on middlemen and more money spent on the parts that actually touch dirt. After decades of watching brands come and go, Canyon has earned its place as one of the most consistent value players in the category. Number 3, YT Jeffsy Core 2. YT built its reputation on delivering serious all-mountain performance at prices that make the big brands nervous, and the Jeffsy Core 2 continues that tradition. Fox 36, performance up front, capable rear suspension, and geometry that encourages aggressive riding show up near $3,000, often lower on sale. This is not a bike that feels like a compromise. It is a proper shredder that can handle big terrain while still being reasonably efficient on the climbs. Riders who have put serious miles on these machines consistently report that the performance feels closer to bikes costing significantly more. When the trail demands confidence and the budget demands restraint, the Jeffsy Core 2 is one of the few bikes that genuinely delivers both. Number 2, Polygon Siskiu T7 and T-series entry models. Polygon has been quietly building some of the best spec-to-price mountain bikes on the market, and the T7 and lower T-series models already represent ridiculous value. Modern geometry, capable suspension, and component packages that would have been considered high-end just a few years ago sit at prices that make you do a double take. These are not toys. They are legitimate trail bikes that can take a beating and keep asking for more. The brand's vertically integrated approach means they control costs without sacrificing the parts that actually matter when you are 50 miles from the trailhead and something goes wrong. For riders who want maximum capability per dollar without drama, the T-series lineup has become a benchmark. Number 1, Polygon Siskiu T8 2026 model. This is the bike that forces the entire conversation. At $2,399, the 2026 Siskiu T8 arrives with 140mm of front travel, 135 to 140 out back, a Fox 34 rhythm fork, Fox DPS shock, full Shimano SLX drivetrain, UDH compatibility, upgraded MT6 wheels, and Maxxis Dissectors. The geometry has been updated with a slacker 64.5-degree head angle and better reach numbers across sizes. On paper, it already embarrasses bikes costing twice as much. On the trail, it feels nimble, supportive, and genuinely fun without feeling like a budget compromise. I have ridden bikes that cost $5,000 and $6,000 with similar travel and component claims. The Siskiu T8 does not feel like it is missing anything that matters when you are actually riding. It climbs well enough for long days, descends with confidence on technical terrain, and the updated wheels and tires reduce rolling resistance while improving grip. Polygon lowered the price while improving the spec from previous years. That is not normal in this industry. If you are serious about getting the most bike for your money in 2026, This is the one that makes you ask the uncomfortable question out loud. What exactly are the big brands charging you for? If this list has you rethinking what a proper mountain bike should actually cost these days, hit subscribe. There are more value conversations coming that the big brands would rather you did not hear. These 10 bikes prove something important. The performance gap between what you can buy for under $3,000 and what the big brands want you to spend has never been wider. The brands on this list are not perfect. Some have shorter track records, some require buying direct. But they are putting the money where it actually touches the ground, instead of into marketing campaigns and dealer margins. After 50+ years on two wheels, I have learned that the best bike is rarely the most expensive one. It is the one that gets you out on the trail more often, with fewer compromises, and leaves more money in your pocket for tires, maintenance, and the next adventure. Right now, in 2026, that bike is very likely sitting somewhere on this list. Ride safe out there.